Jake Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy for you end up like Veezy. But make sure y'all follow my Instagram and Twitch in the description down below. Everything you need to know about your boy Jay is in the description down below. You know what I'm saying? But nah, though, man. Hey, it's Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's Friday night, fellas. You know what I'm saying? We finna have a party. Let's get it. Let's go. But like I said, y'all, man, look, they didn't believe in me, but God sure did, man. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, God did. You feel me? But nah, though, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to my second channel, man. Link in the description. 390 subscribers, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy, man. You know what I mean? To just be standing in front of y'all. Hold on, y'all, bro. It's kind of getting a little emotional right quick. You know, yeah. I ain't gonna lie, y'all kind of got a little emotional right there. I had to kick back in right quick, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate all the love, man. You know, just start the video, y'all.
This is the most heavily guarded prison in Mexico. Tall mesh fences, huge watchtowers, no-fly zone.
Oh my God, we got the help for El Chapo!
Yet, this someone happens to be the world's most powerful drug lord, El Chapo.
Chapo Guzman.
He won't use any violence, nor will he climb over the fence. All he will do is walk into his shower and disappear. This is the story of how El Chapo became one of the most successful drug dealers in the history of mankind.
I know about El Chapo
Guzman for decades, and how he escaped them over and over again. And it's the story of how an interview with a Hollywood actor and a failing car engine finally brought him down.
Y'all know about El Chapo Guzman, man. You know what I mean? Sinaloa cartel, it still runs today, ladies and gentlemen. It still runs today. One of the biggest cartels in Mexico. Y'all know that. My mother is in Mexico. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I had to tell y'all this. My mother is in Mexico, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to check up in on her today. You feel me? I told her, you know what I mean? Even the good parts of Mexico is cartel infested. I say, please, mother, please. You know what I mean? Do not just, you know, wander around. You feel me? Because she very extroverted, bro. There's one thing I cannot stand about my mother, bro. She is very extroverted. You know what I mean? She is nothing like me. You know what I mean? She very extroverted, very outspoken, bro. And that's why I'm very protective over her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I just, you know, Mexico, I'll never visit Mexico, man. Even the good parts, man, the cartel be operating in the good parts. They could be the most beautiful parts in Mexico. Best believe cartel got their hands on it some way.
Guzman Loera was born on April 4th, 1957, in a poor family in a poor neighborhood. The village, La Tuna, in Mexico's Sierra Madre Mountains. Boys here don't grow up wishing to be astronauts, firefighters, or doctors. They want to become drug traffickers. It's a way to make money, and money is a way out. People will call Guzman El Chapo because of his height. He doesn't grow taller than $1.67 m. El Chapo drops out of school early. He doesn't even finish elementary school. Instead, he spends his time working on the marijuana and poppy fields, a family tradition. From a young age, El Chapo is extremely ambitious. He makes friends with big names in the local drug scene, determined to rise through the ranks of Mexican organized crime. First, he becomes a so-called problem solver. Whenever a truckload of drug shipment misses schedule, El Chapo eliminates the person responsible. His uncompromising attitude makes him trustworthy, and he grows close to the kingpin of the Guadalajara cartel.
Angel Felix.
When the boss is arrested, El Chapo keeps the business running, ultimately setting up his own organization with other traffickers, the Sinaloa cartel. He organizes planes, trucks, and rail cars to deliver cocaine and heroin into the United States, and he even builds border-crossing tunnels, a skill that will come in handy many years later. In those early years, one incident really puts El Chapo on the map. This is Juan Jesus Posadas. He's the Archbishop of Guadalajara and a cardinal, one of the highest ranks in the church. Posadas is a popular man. He advocates for the poor and publicly condemns drug trade.
You said church, you know what I'm saying? Church. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be for the Lord and you intertwine with El Chapo Guzman?
Right now, he's
lukewarm. I say lukewarm.
an ambassador of the Vatican. At the same time, El Chapo and his bodyguards pull into the parking lot. They are here to catch a flight to the beach resort town of Puerto Vallarta, one of El Chapo's favorite places to party. We don't know exactly what happened in this parking lot next. One thing we know for sure, though, the Cardinal will not survive. This is the official version. These brothers run a drug trafficking operation.
Oh, this is brothers.
Tijuana.
Brothers heard about
They
them.
are at war with El Chapo and his
War with
cartel.
El Chapo.
They fight over drug running territory, and somehow they get wind that El Chapo is going to be at the airport that day. So one of the brothers and a group of gunmen rush there to ambush him. When they spot him and his bodyguards, they step out of their cars and open fire. El Chapo and his men run toward the terminal building, taking cover behind cars in the lot. It's raining bullets, but somehow they manage to escape without getting hit. The failed assassination leaves 7 people dead.
7 innocent people. They don't care either. 7 innocent people. They do not care. You know, ruthless criminals. They just do not freaking care at all whatsoever.
This is the version of events that authorities will publicly report. Posadas was caught in the crossfire. Wrong time, wrong place. But there are doubts about
Killing somebody is just like eating breakfast for them.
Appear like a coincidence. Forensic experts will later say it's likely that the gunman killed the Cardinal deliberately. He was shot 14 times.
14 times. God,
The officials suggest that the gunmen had mistaken the cars. El Chapo regularly drives a white Mercury Grand Marquis, the same model Posadas sat in that day.
14.
The gunman thought it's El Chapo's car and opened fire. But the Cardinal wore his robe when he was shot. He was not dressed at all like a drug lord. If the gunman killed him at a close range, how could they have confused him with El Chapo? Years later, the successor of Posadas will make a serious accusation. He claims the murder of the Cardinal was a crime of the state.
Se trató de un crimen de Estado, perpetrado por la Policía Judicial Federal, es decir, por la Policía de la PGR.
He believes the police carried out the killing for the Mexican government. Posadas had accused government officials of
bro,
these cartels.
I'm gonna keep it G with you, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't. In Mexico, bro, they all corrupted. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, cartels, it is how it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, in Mexico, bro, they all corrupted. You know, you got government officials paid off. You got police officers paid off. That's why the cartel ain't never going nowhere. That's why the CJANG still as big as it is. The Sinaloa cartel is still as big as it is. That junk ain't going nowhere, bro. How you supposed to expect to be protected, you know what I mean, from the people that's paid off? You know what I mean? The whole time you looking at the police officers, you know, to protect you, but you know what I'm saying? They paid off, bro. You feel me? They with the cartel. You looking at the government for protection, but they with the cartel. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. You know, like I said, Pablo Escobar wouldn't have died, bro, if it wasn't for the United States. The United States got to help these people have control of their own dang country. You know what I mean? Mexico can't even have control of their own dang country, and people got the nerve to be talking about the United States. You know what I'm saying? The United States got to help everybody with their dang problems. You feel me? Golly, cartel, they run Mexico, bro. They run that, bro. It's cartel infested. That's why I told my mama, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man.
Up to this day, it remains a mystery. What really happened in 1993 at Guadalajara Airport?
I don't mess with Mexico. I don't trust Mexico at all.
This is El Chapo's wife, his sons, and one of his closest partners. Just 2 months ago, El Chapo was captured and brought to Altiplano maximum security prison.
But yeah, El Chapo, he ain't getting out, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. El Chapo ain't getting out. He in the most secure prison in the United States. And the only reason he escaped, I think El Chapo escaped prison 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, 2 times, and both of them was in Mexico, bro. You know what I'm saying? El Chapo cannot be located in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? If he's located in Mexico, bro, he's going to escape, bro, 100% of the time. All you got to do is pay off guards, man. You know what I mean? Pay off guards. They turn their head, bro. You know, that's what he did. I know that's what El Chapo did. El Chapo the Guzman. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what he did, man. You know what I mean? El Chapo paid some guards to turn their head while his guys was building tunnels. That's what El Chapo did, I'm telling you. But now he in the United States of America, so no more hearing of El Chapo. Chapo ain't getting out. Chapo had a good run. You know what I'm saying? But Chapo ain't getting out. It's over, brother. It's over.
Now the group is working on a plan to get him out. They begin by acquiring an old property.
It's over, brother. It's over.
Next, they buy an old warehouse nearby. Here they store weapons in an armored pickup truck. Then they hire workers for one very specific job, digging a sophisticated tunnel.
You know how long that tunnel had to take to build, bro? Had already been in the works.
In 1993, after the shootout at Guadalajara airport, the Mexican government placed a bounty on El Chapo. It took just 2 weeks until he was found and arrested. He denies being responsible for the death of the cardinal. He insists that he was the supposed target of the shootout. Ultimately, the authorities believe him. They don't charge him for homicide, just for drug trafficking. He is sentenced to 20 years in a Mexican prison.
20 years?
But he continues to run the Sinaloa cartel from behind bars. Through his lawyers, he passes orders to his closest allies. He doesn't need to be in the room to pull strings. His empire runs on whispered instructions and tightly coordinated moves. Sometimes real power is remote. With any desk you can
Oh my God, come on, man. Not the sponsorships, man. Come on, man.
has enough of life in prison. Also, the Mexican Supreme Court just approved a law that makes it easier to extradite criminals like him to the US. Time to get out. The official version of his first prison escape is spectacular. He supposedly bribes a guard who helps him climb into a laundry cart. The guard then pushes the cart out of the cell.
Hey, what I say, bro? I told y'all, bro, he bribed the guard. You know what I'm saying? Paid off a guard. You know what I'm saying? That helped them escape. I told y'all this. I knew this, bro. I knew I wasn't tripping.
The hallways and through an unguarded gate to the parking lot.
Nigga paid off a guard.
Jumps out and climbs into the trunk of a car. The guard gets in and drives to the outer prison gate. After a quick search, the car is waved through.
No, that guard going to jail.
The trunk.
That guard is cooked.
But again, that's just the official story. Several authors and journalists don't buy it. One argues that the prison's checkpoints were equipped with heat and motion sensors, capable of detecting any living creature, even a cat. That means the alarms would have gone off. Instead, the journalists suggest that El Chapo may have left the prison dressed in a police uniform, escorted by other corrupt officers. One way or another, systemic corruption likely played a role, and El Chapo put his newly won freedom to use.
Did he stay in Mexico? Hang on, like, did you stay in Mexico? You stayed in Mexico after you escaped? I know you ain't stay in Mexico after you escaped. I know you smarter than that is.
Dramatically. In 2002, the leader of the Tijuana cartel is killed in a shootout with police. One of the brothers who had supposedly tried to assassinate El Chapo at the airport. A year later, the leader of the Gulf cartel is arrested. 2 major cartels are now without leadership. El Chapo sees an opportunity. He pushes into Tijuana and Gulf territory, triggering brutal fighting. Nuevo Laredo, an area
doing all this,
border, practically turns into a war zone. Former forces of the Mexican army begin working for El Chapo. They clash with what's left of the Gulf cartel, whose core fighters were partly trained by the US. Early on, the violence results in more than 1,000 deaths.
1,000 deaths. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 deaths. This man partaked in 1,000 deaths. You know what I'm saying? All this for money, y'all, bro. Do you understand that? Like, I ain't gonna lie, no amount of money, bro, can make me go deep, bro. Bro, I'm just a man with morals. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a whole lot of people that misses that. It's like, bro, this is temporary. Money is temporary. You're gonna die. You know what I mean? The unseen is eternity. When we die, that's eternity, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this money, bro, it ain't worth it. It's not worth the death. It's not worth looking. This man, look, y'all. This man made all these millions of dollars. And El Chapo, Guzman. You know what I'm saying? This man made all this guapo. He can't even enjoy it. Imagine making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you can't even enjoy your money because you steady on the run. This nigga stayed on the run. Same thing for Pablo Escobar. Escobar was a top 10, you know what I'm saying? Top 10 most richest men in the world. You know what I mean? Not just in Colombia. He was the top 10 most richest people in the world. Bro could have, you know what I'm saying, retired as who was going to do something to Pablo? He had all the respect in the world. Nobody was going to do that to him if he wanted to get out the game. Could have got out the game, used that money, bro, to create legit businesses, bro. And guess what? Have you ever watched Queen of the South? Like Teresa Mendoza. You know what I mean? Teresa Mendoza did what every drug kingpin should do. You know what I'm saying? Make your money, make it guapo, and then go legit. But it's more about power than money. They're addicted to the power. You know what I mean? I feel like the money they really like, once you that deep like El Chapo and Pablo Escobar, bro, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's more, you know what I mean, about the money, more about the power, excuse me, than the money. You know what I mean? That's just in my opinion. So I just feel like bro just felt addicted to the power. He just felt like God on earth. You know what I'm saying?
Them civilians.
Just felt like he's addicted to
the
it.
Beginning. In 2006,
that's what it has to be.
Becomes Mexico's new president. Determined to crack down on organized crime, he declares war on the cartels and deploys the military. The violence escalates dramatically. Between 2007 and 2014, over 160,000 people died.
160,000 people
in Mexico.
This is
years
crazy.
Of bloodshed, El Chapo rises. He becomes the world's most wanted criminal, transforming the Sinaloa cartel into one of the most powerful criminal organizations in history.
Look at this.
It becomes the top supplier of drugs to the United States: cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. El Chapo's cartel operates in 50 countries and generates billions of dollars in profits each year. In turn, El Chapo becomes extremely wealthy, eventually making Forbes' list of the world's billionaires.
That is a billionaire. You're not gonna be able to enjoy it. The man is a billionaire, chat. A billionaire. You feel me? A billionaire. Like, look at him, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what I be trying to tell y'all, man. It's just, hey, bro. And now you can't even enjoy it. Made all that money, you can't even enjoy it. I don't look up to no El Chapos. I don't look up to Pablo Escobars, man. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong, y'all, with going legit and just doing it the right way. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, they ain't got to worry about, they can enjoy their money because they did it the right way. You can be a millionaire, you know what I'm saying, doing it the right way. Some niggas just don't want to wait. Like El Chapo, he ain't want to wait. He wanted that fast money. And I'm telling y'all, bro, the word is so real. It says fast money dwindles away. Fast money dwindles away. You probably enjoying the fast money now, but in the future, it's going to dwindle away. Everything that's in that word, man, comes to truth, and we see it on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? You probably can only name one successful drug lord who really like look, all I'm saying, look. Name one drug lord who beat this ish. Name one drug lord like who started from start to finish, bro. I forgot one dude. One dude did it the right way though. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about look. I'm not saying, bro, you know what I'm saying, a nigga that did, dang, I forgot this nigga name. He was a huge drug lord, bro. And I forgot, I think it was Harlem, New York. He was a huge drug lord. You know what I'm saying? And bro basically was like Teresa Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? Basically was in the drug game, you know what I mean, and did it the right way, you know, got out and he disappeared. And I'm talking about a dude that was active from start to finish. A dude that was active from start to finish. You can't name one drug lord who was active from start to finish. Start to finish.
No wonder it's hard to keep him locked up.
You probably named some drug lords who got out the game, then later died and never got caught. But you can't name one drug lord who stayed active his whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? His whole entire life. You can't name one. I'm talking about active. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, he never got caught. You feel me? And, you know, evaded. No, I'm talking about staying active. You feel me? Staying in the drug game. You can't name one. Can't name one. You talking about El Mencho, word on the street, El Mencho dead. We don't even know if El Mencho alive. Nigga, word on the street, he dead. Word on the street, he faking his death. We don't even know if bro alive. But you not gonna enjoy it. For all my weed dealers and for all everybody, bro, it probably feel good now, but you always gonna want more. You know what I'm saying? You always gonna want more. That's when it comes with the game. You always gonna want more, bro. I told y'all the drug game is like the NBA. You got elementary, you got high school basketball, you got college, and you got professional. You gonna want more. You're not gonna want just weed. You know what I mean? You're not gonna want that. You're gonna want that up the game, up the game. That's how they started off. You see how he started off? He started off working in the marijuana field. He started off with the weed. You gonna want more. You see how much money that weed bringing in? You gonna want more. You gonna keep wanting more and more and more. That's what come with the game, bro. You always gonna want more. You see how that weed money bringing in? You like, oh yeah, bro. So imagine if I start selling this right here. Imagine how much money I'm gonna get when I start selling this right here. And then when you start selling that, you gonna feel the same way. Dang, I'm making this right here. So imagine if I start selling this right here. You see how you always gonna want more and more and more? That's how niggas get destroyed, because nigga always gonna want more. It ain't never gonna be enough for you, my nigga. Ain't never gonna be enough. You always gonna want more, and that's gonna destroy you. That's how fast money dwindles away, man. It always happens.
GPS watch into his prison cell, disguised as a food item.
Gonna feel good for now.
Direction they need to dig.
But in the
Over
future,
of a year, they dig a sophisticated tunnel.
You ain't gonna have none of that.
A carefully planned
And then they gonna take all your money. They gonna seize your bank accounts. They gonna take all your money unless you got something buried. Like we all know Chapo got stuff stashed away. We got stuff stashed away, but they gonna take everything. You know what I'm saying? They gonna take everything.
Construction, costing approximately $5 million to make. The tunnel is 1.5 kilometers long and 1.70 meters high. It is reinforced by a wooden frame. There are lights and even a ventilation system. Digging a tunnel creates a lot of dirt, so the workers build a rail system with a motorcycle adapted to it to move the dirt out of the tunnel. The construction is also supposed to function as
for me, like I said, for me, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. Sorry, man. But for me, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I can't work no job. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about me talking about I'm gonna sell drugs, and I'm not going that way. I'm gonna find some way to get this junk legally. I must find some way to be an entrepreneur, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or something. I just cannot work for people. I ain't gonna lie. That's just me. You know what I mean? Some people can, and some people forever are going to work for people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, without workers, this world would not function. It's just real life, bro, and this is real. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. There's no such thing. Look, if you're not making any money off of it, bro, if you're not making a living off it, because everybody call themselves entrepreneurs, but in real life, you're not. If you're not living off that, bro, if you're not making a living off that, you're not an entrepreneur. That's just a side hustle. You know what I mean? That's just real. It is. Your main job, you still go to work, bro, and that's your main income. You're still a worker, bro. You're not an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur is a nigga that's living off that. You feel me? So in reality, bro, some of y'all watching, bro, is not gonna make it. It's reality. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all ain't gonna make it. Everybody ain't gonna make it. It's just how it is designed. Just keeping it real. All y'all not gonna be entrepreneurs. A lot of y'all don't even have the mindset to be that. When stuff get hard, you quit. That's how a lot of y'all are. That's why it's only a small percentage of millionaires. It's only like 3,000 millionaires. It's not that many millionaires, bro. It's not that many billionaires. And the only reason is that because they willing to take the extra mile. A lot of y'all not. When stuff get hard, when stuff not going your way, you quit. Simple as that. That's the majority of the people in this world. You quit when stuff get hard. That's why a lot of y'all would never ever be an entrepreneur. If you would have got banned like me, you would have quit. You would have gave up. That's what sets entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs, bro, from the fake ones, bro. That's what separates the mindset. A lot of y'all ain't got that mindset. A lot of y'all ain't built for it. You know what I'm saying? But the world needs workers, bro. A lot of y'all gonna work for your rest of y'all life, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing with having a job. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with having a job. Don't let nobody make you feel like something wrong with having a job, bro. You know?
Vehicle later on.
Without workers, this world won't operate correctly. You need workers, bro.
How did El Chapo end up in El Altiplano in the first place?
I'm just ain't gonna work. I'm not saying it like a bad thing. I just don't like listening to people.
Is an agent with the Drug Enforcement Agency.
I'll listen to a nigga if a nigga got right direction.
Drug lord on Earth, perhaps in history. Currently,
but I don't
he's looking for allies, but he soon discovers somehow there is no task force. No team,
like doing what I like doing.
A single federal agent assigned to the job of bringing El Chapo to justice. So he takes a Spanish class and prepares to move to Mexico. Meanwhile, one of Andrew's colleagues in the U.S. manages to get the pin to El Chapo's BlackBerry thanks to someone in his inner circle. He tracks down his phone to the holiday resort Cabo San Lucas. The colleague immediately calls Andrew.
They need the U.S.
Excited.
Take down
So they pass the information to the officials in Mexico. The DEA and Mexican police quickly head down to the place where El Chapo is supposedly hiding, but he's nowhere to be found. Next, they narrow down El Chapo's phone signal to one of 3 mansions near the resort Cabo San Lucas. This time, it's a hit. He's there. But before the forces arrive, El Chapo just escapes through the back door.
Look out.
Somehow he makes it to an airstrip without being caught and is flown to safety.
Nigga all on the run. He can't even enjoy his money. That guy ain't got a job. No, ain't got no job, nigga.
El Chapo
he had a job, bro. I ain't had a job ever since 2023. You know what I'm saying? That's how long I ain't worked. My last job, bro, was the last time I got arrested. Last time I got arrested, bro, that was my last job, 2023. You know what I'm saying? That's the last time I had a job, go.
One step ahead, he constantly changes his SIM cards and phones and simply outsmarts the authorities. One DEA agent supposedly said the Mexicans couldn't catch El Chapo if he was standing at the fucking Starbucks across the street from the embassy. But Andrew Hogan doesn't give up. In May 2012, he moves to Mexico City with his family and takes over the Sinaloa case. In the months that follow, he and his team begin intercepting members of El Chapo's inner circle. Bit by bit, they uncovered the cartel's complex communication system, how often numbers are changed, possible code names, and GPS locations. Slowly, a picture begins to emerge. One day, El Chapo seemingly wants to meet an underling in person, and he sends one of his chauffeurs to pick him up. Hogan tracks his phone. The chauffeur finally arrives at a place in Culiacan. The signal leads to a group of 5 houses. Hogan organizes a capture operation with dozens of Mexican Marines, helicopters, and trucks, and he joins the mission himself. They surround the property and storm inside. But once again, El Chapo is gone. Instead, they find a strangely placed bathtub covering the entrance to a tunnel that leads into the sewers of Culiacan.
How many tunnels this nigga had?
But this time, the Marines managed to stay on El Chapo's tail. 3 days later, they find out that one of his men had driven him to the coastal town of Mazatlan, to a hotel. The Marines enter the 4th floor of the hotel. They storm into room 401,
there you go.
straight for the bedroom. El Chapo is with his family.
El Chapo.
He barricades himself in the bathroom with an assault rifle. His wife pleads with the soldiers not to harm their daughters. Shortly after El Chapo surrenders, they got him. Andrew Hogan's job is done now. He caught the most wanted man on the planet, and he worries for the safety of his family, who moved to Mexico with him. So they board a plane back to the US. Meanwhile, El Chapo goes to Altiplano. The US is pushing hard for his extradition. This would likely be his doom, the end of his reign. Time for another tunnel.
Another escape. This boy escaped jail 2 times, bro. In
The
Mexico.
rescue team and the workers managed to locate the exact spot of El Chapo's cell shower. They build a 10-meter vertical passageway that connects the tunnel to the cell, including a ladder. All this digging and drilling creates a lot of noise. Several inmates are complaining, but the guards ignore them. El Chapo's rescue team manages to complete the 5 million tunnel directly into his prison cell without anyone interfering. All that's left is breaking through the cell floor, and thus comes the day. El Chapo sits on his bed. A surveillance camera monitors him closely. The camera also records audio. You can hear television. The volume is turned up. But you also hear loud banging noises. Probably someone is breaking through the cell floor. Next, El Chapo begins to pace up and down in his cell. After some time, he walks to his shower stall, bends over, and goes back to his bed. He removes his shoes, sits for a second. Then he walks behind the shower wall and simply disappears. He squeezes through the hole in the ground. It's just 50 by 50 centimeters wide. 1 meter below, he finds footing on a ladder. He climbs down 10 meters into the ground until he reaches the tunnel.
Hey, I can't blame him though. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. Dang it, bro. I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, I can't blame him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, me spending 3 days in jail, bro, that made me like realize like I'm straight, bro. You know what I mean? I told y'all, bro, nobody's built for jail. Not even Chapo. Look at Chapo, bro. He's one of the most dangerous drug lords in the world, and bro just can't stay in jail. Like, nobody's built for jail. Don't let nobody tell you they built for jail. You know what I mean? They be trying to act like they built for it, bro. The only reason, bro, they in there, bro, is because they have to be in there. Nobody wants to be in jail. Nobody chooses to be in jail. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is built for that lifestyle unless you like being a slave. You know what I mean, y'all? I felt like a slave in there, man. You know what I mean, y'all? Like, for real, I felt like I'm like, bro, for me, I'm like, I'm too player to be in here. Like, I felt offended. You know what I'm saying? Me being in handcuffs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Me being in a cage, bro, I felt offended. I'm like, me, bro, in this situation? Me? You know what I'm saying? Me? Never again, bro. Never again, bro. Me, player J in here with these niggas? Man, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm too player for this, bro. I was in a waiting cell with a nigga that was saying the same thing, bro. I'm too player for this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no jail, nigga. I'm too player for this. You going to jail don't make you hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Jail is for lame and stupid niggas. And I be trying to preach that a lot to the young dude. Don't let the the world and don't let niggas around you make you feel like you gotta go to jail to be tough, bro. You got some of the toughest niggas in the world, bro, that never stepped foot in jail, bro. Be committing the same crimes that these niggas be committing. They just don't get caught. And I'm not telling anybody to go out here committing crime, but they forgot the freaking objective was to not get caught. These niggas want to get caught. They want to get caught so they can have jail on their resumes, just so they can brag that they been to jail. That's how weird these niggas is. They want to get caught. I thought the objective was not to go to jail. I remember when niggas didn't want to go to jail. These young niggas want to go to jail now just to tell a story. It's a whole lot of niggas that's out here today that just want to get in trouble just to tell a story. Just to make themselves feel like they tough. Like, bro, just sit the freak down somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, niggas be getting in trouble on purpose. Niggas be going to jail on purpose just to tell stories. I'm telling you, it's a lot of niggas out there just like that, bro.
Someone
they want to go to jail. They like it.
The
niggas weird,
sits
bro.
on the motorcycle on rails. El Chapo
niggas some slaves in the mind, bro.
Together they make the 1.5 kilometer ride to the other end of the tunnel. When they arrive, El Chapo and his companions climb up a small ladder through the exit shaft. They end up in an unfinished house, covered with construction material. An ATV is parked outside. They drive a short distance to a warehouse and switch to an SUV. Then they drive for 2 hours, until they arrive at an airstrip. A plane is already waiting. They board it and fly to Sinaloa.
Man, I don't know, man. I would've went, man. That nigga still was in Mexico.
2 months later, one of El Chapo's sons posts a tweet. "I'm doing fine here. You already know with whom." Attached is a photo, presumably with his father. The tweet is tagged with a location, Costa Rica.
How you tweet that, bro? What dumb
Let's back
son?
up for a second. Some things about this spectacular escape just don't add up. There's video footage of guards watching their screens as El Chapo disappears, yet it takes them 20 minutes to check his cell. They even wait a few more minutes before they finally enter and check the escape hole. Also, it seems unlikely that building such a tunnel truly went unnoticed. After all, inmates actively complained
paid off some guards.
A large majority of Mexicans believe the escape was an inside job.
I'll be saying.
Shortly after El Chapo's second prison escape, the prison's warden and 2 other officials were fired. Next, 4 Mexican officials were charged. 2 were members of Mexico's Secret Service, based at the prison. The other 2 were guards who sat in the control room, monitoring El Chapo's cell. The accusation is that they bought El Chapo valuable time by not raising the alarm once the drug lord was gone. And El Chapo, he again becomes one of the most wanted criminals on earth. The pressure to finally bring him to justice is higher than ever. The hunt is on.
This nigga escaped jail
then
2
El Chapo
times.
makes a crazy move. He knows he's considered a legend in Mexico, and he wants even more fame. A movie about his life on the big screen. Sean Penn is already involved in a production about him, along with Mexican actress Kate del Castillo. Castillo manages to contact El Chapo and his associates.
How'd you do that,
Finally,
Chop?
El Chapo agrees to meet her and Sean Penn in person to talk about the movie, while technically he's on the run. This is a photo of the meetup. Sean Penn interviews El Chapo about his career as a drug lord, a story later published by the Rolling Stone. In it, Penn reveals that El Chapo's escape tunnel engineers have been flown to Germany for 3 months of extensive additional training necessary to deal with the low-lying water table beneath the prison. It's a gripping read. Beneath his smile, there's a doubtlessness to his facial expression. A question comes to mind as I observe his face, both as he speaks as while he listens. What is it that removes all doubt from a man's eyes? Is it power, admirable clarity, or soullessness? But according to government sources, the interview is also a crucial factor for investigators to get closer to El Chapo. Apparently all the while, they're monitoring Penn and Castillo's movements very closely.
It's crazy.
It's
So
October
bro got
9th,
caught.
2015. Mexican special forces are closing in on him in the mountains of
Chapo been in
Sinaloa.
jail for 10 years.
After a while, they actually spot him. He's only got 1 bodyguard with him. This is their moment. They take off after them, chasing them through the terrain. As they get nearer, El Chapo falls off a cliff. His bodyguard finds him and carries him to the depths of the forest. The special forces lose sight of them and they escape. A catastrophic failure. But the authorities don't give up the hunt. In January 2016, they get another chance. The Marines manage to locate El Chapo once again in the coastal city of Los Mochis. The clue comes from a taco order placed from a white van. Witnesses say the driver is one of El Chapo's men. The Marines begin to surveil the car. It ultimately leads them to a safe house. A few hours later, the soldiers storm the place. Cartel gunmen try to hold them off. A gunfight breaks out. The Marines eventually push up to the second floor, then the roof, but El Chapo is gone. True to his form, he and one of his gunmen fled through a hidden tunnel.
This little
Right
slick
now,
nigga.
they're climbing out of a drainage tunnel a short distance away, right across from a Walmart.
You said why nobody typing, man? I mean, people vibing, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, like nobody wants to talk. I don't be understanding that why people just don't vibe and just watch sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you know what I mean? Like some people just want to chill, some people just want to vibe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why nobody typing? What the f? Just let people be, man.
His gunmen need to escape quickly. They steal a car, guns drawn, but after just driving a few blocks, the car breaks down. So they ditch it and lose valuable time. Then they take over another car and manage to get on the highway, but it's too late. Police finally arrest El Chapo, one of history's most powerful drug lords. He tells the officers, "You are all going to die." 40 of his assassins are supposedly on their way to free him, but he gets handed over to the Marines, and it's over. After a decade of hide and seek, escaping over and over again, in all likelihood protected by systemic corruption, El Chapo has finally been caught. Later that day, the Mexican president tweets, "Mission accomplished. We have him." Soon after, El Chapo was extradited to the United States, the one thing he truly feared. On July 17th,
He said the one thing he truly feared. You know what I'm saying? People do not want to come to the United States, bro. Like, even though we know that the cartel is operating in the US, you got cartel members in the United States. We know that, you know what I'm saying? But they're nowhere near as loud as they are in Mexico. You know what I mean? They're very quiet here. You know what I mean? They know, because one thing about the United States government, they don't really care about your money. You know what I'm saying? One thing about that government, they don't really care. You can't really bribe them. You can't bribe them. It's like if they ain't getting a piece of the pie, they don't give a dang. Like, I don't know, bro. You can't really bribe. You can't bribe them, bro. They different. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you. United States government different. You can't bribe them like the Mexican government. You know, they don't really care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keeping it real with you. So, you know, they really care about bringing justice. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's why he's been in jail for dang near close to a decade, bro. You know, he probably would have escaped again if he would have got arrested in Mexico. And that's why he got extradited to the U.S. Because they already know if they keep him in Mexico, they already know that they're going to escape again so he can bribe off a guard. You know what I'm saying? So
was extradited to the United States.
Yeah, he in the most secure jail in the United States. That nigga ain't escaping no more. It was a good run for El Chapo, but, you know, that's the end. That's the fate when it comes to this game. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real with you. So if any of y'all want to be a drug lord in the future, because that's why I try to tell every weed plug, what's your plan? You know what I'm saying? What is your plan? What's your future? You know you're not gonna be young forever. What's your plan? What is for all my weed plugs? If you sell weed, I want to know what your plan is. Do y'all ever think about the future? What am I gonna? All I'm gonna do is just keep selling weed for the rest of my life. That right there is gonna, you know, people gonna get tired of that, man. Weed gonna die down, man. I'm telling you, it's already, bro, to the low. You're only gonna get so, you know what I'm saying? And you competing with so many plugs out here. You feel me? If you wanna get where you trying to get, well, I think you trying to get at, bro. See why these niggas like El Chapo and Pablo Escobar is so big in the game is because they doing what everybody can't do. Everybody can sell weed, bro. It's plugs everywhere. That's why when it comes to weed, it's like you always just gonna be here. You always gonna be there. You're not. It's no such thing as getting rich off weed. There's no such thing. You know what I'm saying? It's no such thing as getting rich off weed. You feel me? You always gonna be at a standstill. So if you want to get to where you want to go, you're gonna have to progress, just like the NBA. You know what I mean? Just like the NFL, is levels to it. You know what I mean? Y'all high schoolers when it comes to the drug thing. We niggas high schoolers. You know what I mean? So you want to get to the heights that you want to get to more money. You got to go to next levels. You know, that's how I go in the game, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you, gang. You know, I don't do NHL. I don't do hockey. I'm not even finna get on here and act like I like hockey for y'all, bro. I do not like hockey. It's fire to you, but it's not fire to me. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I do not like hockey. I'm not finna get on here and be like, whoa, oh my God, whoa! Do you see how he hit that puck?
Escape.
Not doing
sentenced
that.
to life in Colorado's Supermax prison. That's where he remains locked up to this day.
That smallest nigga
The
window
Sinaloa
is.
cartel and other Mexican cartels are as strong as ever, operating as undeterred global organizations. There's so much more to this story that we couldn't cover in this video, but apparently some video journalist obsessed with maps is about to pick it up very soon.
Oh, hi Fern. Love your stuff.
We will keep you posted.
Ah, man, so I appreciate y'all, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that video, you know what I'm saying, of the hunt of El Chapo Guzman, you know what I'm saying? But nah, though, man, you know what I mean? I appreciate everybody for joining the stream, you know what I'm saying? We just want to, you know what I'm saying, dish out good content